Have you ever wondered why certain people do the things they do? Have you ever wondered why you do the things that you do? Hi, Nicole Jansen here, and in this video I'm going to share with you something that I learned when I was 11 years old. When I was 11 years old, I had pretty good relationships with, my family, of course, and the people around me, but there were certain relationships that just didn't seem to click quite the way they could. For example, my brother and I, boy, we did not hit it off very well when we were kids. We knew we loved each other, we were there for each other, but we just constantly were at odds. The other person that I had a difficult relationship with at that time was my father. And, I knew that he loved me, but there was something inside me that I felt like being a little kid, looking at his behaviors and evaluating them, I just thought his whole goal in life was to drive me crazy because he was doing such a good job. And so, seriously, I was like, what is up? But then I had the opportunity to read a book. And that book was on personality dynamics. And it changed everything for me. All of a sudden, I could see how I was showing up. I could see how my dad was showing up, how my brother was just like my dad was showing up. I saw my mom and I was like, wow, the dynamics were amazing to be able to see why we were all doing the things that we were doing based on our personality style. And this one tool has shaped all of my relationships since. It has helped me in business. It's helped me with my confidence. When I went to school, I was no longer comparing myself to somebody else. You know how that goes, right? We compare our weaknesses to other people's strengths. And so I stopped doing that because I started to realize, hey, you know what? I'm not like them, but I have gifts. I have talents. I have a personality that's different than theirs, but it's good. It's wonderful. And how can I use that in my everyday life? And so it helped with my confidence. It helped me with clarity in terms of choosing a path for my life. And that's why it's part of the SHAPE model that we talked about. And that's why I'm actually going to talk about it here and expand on it here in this video, because it's so very important. I believe all success, no matter what it is for you, rises and falls on relationships. It rises and falls and is influenced by the relationship that you have with yourself, but also the relationship that you have with others. Okay? So let's talk about it here. Now, if you remember this diagram that I quickly drew out when we were going through the SHAPE and talking about personality, I talked about the two questions that you can ask yourself to really get a sense of what your personality style is. So we're going to get into more detail here. But if you remember, it's outgoing and reserved, right? So am I more outgoing or am I more reserved? The second question was, am I more task-oriented or am I more people-oriented? So you may say, well, actually, I feel like sometimes I'm more outgoing, sometimes I'm more reserved, sometimes I'm more task-oriented, sometimes I'm more people-oriented. And that's because we are all a unique blend of all four personality types. But some are more predominant. They just come up more often, where they're like our primary personality type. And then we have a secondary personality type. And then we have the rest of them. So now there are a lot of personality assessments out there. They're fantastic. This one I use, which is called the DISC model of human behavior. And the reason why I use this one, which I got trained and certified in as a DISC human behavior specialist through Personality Insights. And I got trained by Dr. Robert Rome, an amazing individual, a tremendous communicator and educator. And the reason why I use this tool is because this is something, for me, was something that was easy to understand, but very comprehensive. It was very easy to understand, easy to remember, and easy to apply. Now, what's a tool if you don't know how to apply it? And I've been into organizations time and time again where they say, oh, we've had this organization in, or we've done this assessment, tool, and we've had people come in and teach that. But it's interesting because in every single situation, I ask them and say, okay, do your people actually apply that? Do they know how to apply that tool on an everyday basis in their relationships with the clients that they're coming in contact with the team members that they're working with? And invariably, unless they've been certified in that type of assessment, the answer is no. And so what's the point of the tool? You get to understand yourself, great, but it's got to be in reference and relationship to others that it really has the power. So that's why I love this particular tool. So let's talk about it. So once you answer those 2 questions, and again, you're going to be a unique blend of all 4, but there are going to be some that are going to be stronger than others. So if you answered, let's say, I'm more predominantly or more often outgoing, and I'm more often task-oriented, then we're going to put a D here for that, and I'll explain what it is in a moment. So we've got the D for the outgoing people-oriented. So if you answered outgoing and you answered people-oriented, we're going to put an I there. And I'll come back and explain what that means in a moment. Then the people-oriented reserve type, we're going to put an S, and then we're going to put, for the task and reserve, we're going to put a C over there. So you say, okay, Nicole, that's nice. What does that mean? That's called, this is the DISC model of human behavior. Now, what does this mean? So if you're taking notes, here's what you can write down. So for the D, the common, or the word, it's like the trigger, the reminder word for the outgoing task-oriented person is dominant. Dominant. Now, so that's a dominant type. Maybe I'll just actually write that out here for you. So, dominant. Okay, so that's a reminder word, and if you notice, it has a D, right? So Dr. Rome, being the educator that he is, he actually came up with words that communicate what and describe each of the personality types, so it's easy to remember, right? So we've got the dominant, driver, doer, decisive type of personality, and that's the outgoing, task-oriented person. And then we've got the I, which is the inspiring type. So they're outgoing and they're people-oriented. They like to talk. They're inspiring. They're influencing. Some of the greatest influencers. Lots of the I types. So what do they gravitate to? They gravitate to Hollywood, right? So, and then you've got the Ds. They gravitate to being their own boss because they like to lead and be in charge. They like to have fun, right? And we'll get back to that in a moment. I'll go through the loop around the model again in a moment. But so we've got dominant, inspiring, and we've got the, oops, that's a P, supportive type, okay? So that's supposed to say supportive, okay? What do they say? It's progress, not perfection. So there you go. All right. So that's supportive type. That's the people-oriented, reserved type of personality that is very supportive. They're very steady. They like the status quo. Don't change things too much for them. They like it the way it is. Okay? And then we have the cautious, okay? The cautious type, who are the task-oriented reserve type. They're the ones that are cautious. They're calculating, like as in analytical. They're contemplative, right? They're very correct. There's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things in their viewpoint, okay? So if you look at that and you say, okay, wow, there's going to be some of those descriptive words that I use that you might relate to for yourself. Or you may see some people that you live with or work with and going, okay, yes, I can see so-and-so and so-and-so. You start to see how people are showing up here. And again, there's going to be a primary personality type that you have, and then there's going to be a secondary. So maybe it could be that your strongest trait is as the supportive type, but then your secondary is as the I personality type. Or maybe it's supportive and the C. It could actually even be here, which seems like it would be opposite, but it's not actually really. In some ways it is, but it's not. It's actually a great combination of personality type and personality style. So the dominant type, how does this relate and how do you use this tool? I mean, as I said, I could spend hours on this, but I want to give you some key words that will help you in this as you're looking to relate better with people, okay, on this journey that we're talking about. So the dominant type of personality, what are they driven by? What are they motivated by? Well, they're motivated by results. What are we going to do? How long is it going to take for us to get there? What are we going to accomplish? What's it going to look like when we're there? Okay, so that's the dominant. They're the driver, the doer, the decisive personality type. They're looking for results. So write that down, results. The I, they like to have fun and they like recognition. Okay, so they like recognition. They like to be recognized that's why they go to Hollywood, and that's why they like to be recognized in front of an audience. Okay, that to them is fantastic. The D's like, yeah, you can recognize me, but recognize me for my accomplishments, versus the I is the accomplishments, but it's who I am. It's who I am, how I'm showing up, and it's like, you're awesome, so to speak. And so that's the I personality type. Now for my dad was an ID personality type. So we're gonna have fun, we're gonna have it my way. And so as a young girl, I was very respectful. I grew up in a European household. You didn't talk back to your parents or anything. But in my heart, I was just like, ugh, because I was this C personality type. And so we started to grade. This was our point of conflict, because he was trying to enforce authority and telling me what I needed to do, and I didn't want that, right? So maybe familiar to you, some of you have kids who are dominant types, and you're like, oh, that sounds familiar. Because of their personality type. So there are tips and things that you can do in each one of these for each one of these combinations as you're working and relating to them. So we can talk about that a little bit later. But so you understand. So this is they're looking for results. They're looking for the recognition, the fun, all of that. The supportive type, the S personality type, while they love people as well as they're very people oriented, they're more the listeners, versus the inspiring types are more the talkers. Okay? Now, the supportive types, they tend to gravitate more to teams and working within teams. Why? Because they are motivated by that harmony. Let's all work together. Let's make things happen. Let's have fun. Let's work together. Okay? So that's what they want to work together, and they want everybody to collaborate. They also like appreciation. They want to be appreciated for the effort and the contribution that they're making. They tend to gravitate to roles that are very supportive roles, maybe human resources or social work. It doesn't have to be that, but it's oftentimes these are the roles that they want to help people, and they long to help people. They love to care for people, take care of people. Mercy, those spiritual gifts that we're talking about, mercy and care, a lot of them have that supportive personality to go with it. Now the cautious type, and some people think of that word and they say, oh, that's a negative term. Not really. I want my financial advisor to be a little bit cautious when it comes to managing my money. Don't you? Right? I want my lawyer to be a little bit cautious when they're putting together agreements. I want my pilot to be a little bit cautious, the engineer to be a little bit cautious in calculating in the way that they're doing their job. Super, super important. I don't want some, inspiring type. I'm not going to give my dad just recently passed away, but I would not have given my dad, when he was alive, I would not have given him certain things that were like highly detailed to do, right? Because we ended up in business together at one point. We just didn't give him the details. You know what? You're just have fun, make a difference. You be out there in the front, talking to people and so forth. We'll handle the details. Okay? So why? Because this just wasn't his forte. So that's where the team, we could work together. And my mom has a lot of these strengths so that we could work together and make that happen and support what was, the structure, so to speak, of the business. And it became very successful doing that. So the cautious type, it's good to be cautious. It's good to be analytical. Not over analytical, but, like in all of these personality styles, there is an in control aspect of their personality type, and meaning that it's working for them. It's the strength. There's also the taking every strength, let me write this down, every strength taken to an extreme becomes a weakness. Every strength taken to an extreme becomes a weakness. And so somebody that is dominant, it could be a wonderful strength as leadership and taking charge and making things happen. But when it's over the top and it's to the extreme, then you've got somebody who's bossy and domineering, and nobody likes that. Somebody that can talk and is a great communicator, it's wonderful. But if it goes too much, then they're just talking all about themselves, and then people say they're self-centered and they don't give other people a chance. Supportive types, it's wonderful that they want harmony and they want teamwork and all of that. But you know what? To the extreme, they can become a pushover, and then they get taken advantage of. That's not a good thing either, and not respected. And then the cautious type, when they take it to an extreme of being task-oriented and reserved, that they can be over-analytical, over-critical of other people. And that becomes an extreme. It becomes the weakness. So dialing it back into what is the strength. they're cautious, they're contemplative, some of the smartest people that you'll ever meet. They're very correct. They love procedures. They love procedures, and they like quality and value. So for them, they're going to ask questions because they want to know the answers. They want the information and the data from you as a client or a prospect that you're speaking to. They want to know that information. The I, they want to know who else is using the product. The D wants to know, what's the product going to do for me? And the S, they want to know, is this the right thing for us? Is this going to help us all win together? Then great. Or is this product going to bring more harmony to my life? Is it going to bring more happiness to my life? Then great, that's something that I'm interested in. So there's a quick overview on the DISC model of human behavior. I put in there some of the motivating factors. You can look at this, we can go through it in so many different ways. Stress recovery, how the dominant, the D, the I, the S, and the C recover from stress is so different. For example, the D, they need that physical activity to work out the stress. The I, they need the social activity to work out the stress and interacting with others. The S, they need to just do nothing at all and just have no non-directed activity at all. And the C, they need that cognitive recovery, maybe playing solitaire. My mom would play solitaire to relax from stress. My dad's like, what are you doing, solitaire on the computer or reading a book? I mean, that's no fun. Let's go out, let's go talk to people. That was not her way of relieving stress. And so for her, it was like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, oh, you're being a party poop. So without understanding the personalities, it can create conflict between people. And you see this all the time in business, and you see this all the time in relationships. And that's why I went through this, because it was so, so important for you to be able to be successful, to be able to live on purpose, to be able to make a difference in the world. Have fun, make money, make a difference. In order to make that happen, you've got to learn how to deal with people. And maybe you already know, and this just gave you some finer distinctions, or maybe this is a whole new world that we just opened up for you. Either way, you know what? Unpack it, discover it, and if you want more information, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to share. If you have questions about specific situations, email me, contact me through Facebook. I'm very available, very easy to find. And you know what? Just find out more learn more about this. Learn how to understand your own personality, learn how to understand others, learn how to build better relationships and more effective teams. It'll make all the difference in your life and your life experience. So that's it. That's the 4 essential elements. Knowing and understanding that the mindset is that foundational piece, right? Mindset, action, results. Number 1, we got to understand that piece and what are our beliefs that we have and how do we shift our beliefs and transform them into beliefs that will empower us towards our goals and our dreams and what we want to create. And then what is it that is our purpose? How do we get out of chaos? How do we navigate through that, right? Focus systems leadership, and now how do we deal with people along the journey? Who's in the car with us? How do we deal with those people and have fun along the way? So I hope this has been helpful to you and that you've learned a lot. I do want to share with you something else that I think would be super fun. And so if you are interested and you want to learn more about this is just a few of the things that I teach my clients, very fundamental pieces. But as we get into business and strategy with those foundational pieces in place, we can do that. And so I actually created something that I'm really excited about. I've spent many months on it and pulling out my hair. No, it's been so much fun to create this, and it's called the Purpose to Profits Academy. And it's really bringing together visionary entrepreneurs, people that do want to make a difference, that do want to have fun, and do want to make money along the way. And so I created this academy where I have a series of courses and a lot of other cool things that are going on there in a community. And I would love to invite you into that community with me, because now you've got these foundational pieces that you're building upon. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, there is a link on the bottom. Just click on the link below and it'll take you to another page where we'll explain more in detail what that looks like and how you can get involved in that community. So thank you again for being here with me. I hope this has been valuable to you, that makes a difference in your world. If you apply these things, they will transform your results in such an incredible way and your life experience. And then again, if you're interested and want to learn more about the Purpose to Profits Academy and how to get involved in that community, then click on the link below and we'll see you there.